頑張ります。あなたにふさわしくなるように。
Hey there, everyone. This is Jeffrey with Killaskila Gaming, and welcome back to Silent Hill F, New Game Plus. We are at the main hall. This is where the rituals would typically take place, but we already have our furry accessories, I'll call them. And you would think that we really wouldn't have much to do here, but I do have some trophies and documents and of course Inari-sama. There's an Inari-sama door. So let's get to it and we'll see what we find as we go and we'll figure this out. Not before taking a taste of my nice stimulating beverage I made in the Taco Bell cup again. So I don't think there's anything behind us here. I'm trying to remember in the main story, I think we still had the Naginata, right? Since we didn't have the furry arm. And we should be able to do this, right? That's cool. It's kind of creepy and interesting at the same time, the way she's talking. She was always talking in absolutes, but in this realm, now she sounds a little bit more brainwashed. That's the only way I can see it, to be honest, that she's brainwashed by whatever entity this is. So this area, we're done with the furry rituals, of course, but there is another ritual we need to work on here. And that has to do with the ending. If you recall from the main screen where you can look at the requirements for the endings. Oh. We have to cleanse the Sacred Blade, I think it's called. So we need to start that process. I don't want to get too far and pull us into something. I think I want to open up everything, but I think the Inari-sama Door is in the main area, but I could be wrong. Suppose if we have a save. Sugisato. I was trying to remember the name of the mountains. I remembered it. That's what I said to myself earlier. I promise. I'm not making that up. I don't know why people would make that up, but I see people get accused of stuff all the time online, and I don't know why. I'm like, are there that many like distrustful people out there making content that you just can't take anything they say, for what it is? That's what the first ritual is, isn't it? One of them at least. I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of I'm one of those people where if somebody tells me something, even if it's like a really bad and outrageous joke, I'll probably just take it as I'll take it for what it is at face value, because I just have no concept for when people are joking with me or when they're lying to me. It's like, I'll figure it out eventually, but I'll just kind of go along with it. I'll just be like, oh, okay. And a lot of times they'll start laughing because like they think I, they think I, just took it at face value. And I'm like, well, I kind of did, because why would you lie to me? Okay, we're not going to go upstairs. Oh, wait, I came in here, didn't I? Here, we can open you. This is really cool, I think, that we can go into these rooms. Oh yeah, these are those... I have them written down in my notes for Sekiro, the one I did my walkthrough, and I can't remember what those are called. They're in the painting that we have to do later. The mural puzzle. Oh, mask. Sounds like I agitated something there. Sounds like one of my favorite enemies, doesn't it? Do they just not care if I'm not... I guess I know they can't see you, but... It sounds like one of the liquor thingies, the blind liquor thingies. Which is a weird way to put that since liquors are blind. Quite literally. If anybody happens to come across this and is wondering why I keep referring to liquors, it's a creature from Resident Evil. It kind of looks like you skinned a person, exposing all the muscle on their body and their brain, but they can't see. They have no eyes. They're probably, I'd say, one of my favorite designs of creatures in the games. Solemn letter. Thy lovely silver arm grows strong. Thy figure no longer mortal but divine. Unto thy limb has the power of purification been bestowed. Grace us now with thy newfound strength. Is that referring to me? In a weird way. Let's open up everything. Now that I'm thinking about it too, I'm not a human biology expert. Oh, should have kept that charge. So I'm not a human biology expert, so when it comes to like anatomy and physiology stuff, like I never took A&P when I was in undergrad, but I've taught like A&P courses or stuff that has A&P in it, anatomy and physiology, in case you're not familiar. Sorry, but I never took like a true A&P course when I was when I was a student. We had the option of selecting one of 3 courses that had a laboratory with it for my second year courses. And, you could take it whenever you want to. You didn't have to take it in your second year, but they were all sophomore level courses, supposedly. And the options you could take were, and this is kind of like for the core of the degree. So core courses meaning like everybody has to take these courses, and we had an optional one for our second year course, which was you can take zoology, botany, or A&P 1, because you can't cover all of A&P in one semester. But you could take it as that one course, and you could take it. I'm assuming if people took A&P, they probably took A&P 2 the second semester, because why would you not? They go together. But I went with zoology because I already had the prereqs for it when I got to that point, and it was something I was actively interested in. I was actually considering entomology as a background area, or zoology in general. which is essentially just like animal studies. So, you know, you do other things in it, but it's mostly just animal studies. And when I took the course, I didn't realize it at the time, but our zoology course was just it was just invertebrate animals. We didn't do any of the higher groups. I won't say not higher. We didn't do any of the more specified groups that you're probably familiar with as animals. Like we didn't do birds, we didn't do fish, we didn't do reptiles, amphibians, mammals, any of that. And I think the reason they set it up that way is because we already had courses for all of those things. You know, where you go much more in detail on in each area. And so for that reason, the only AMP I ever learned, well, that's him, isn't it? The only AMP I really learned was from probably my Zo course and just other courses that had some relation to it. And I don't regret not taking it, but nowadays I look at like AMP and I'm like, you know, like, it'd be kind of nice to have that background, and I've been kind of considering, you know, maybe I should start to learn some of that stuff just for fun, if nothing else. I like learning, so it's not, you know, when you have a vested interest in something, it's like, well, whatever, right? And the reason I bring that up is because it just occurred to me, like, one of the things I learned more recently, because I've been teaching courses related to anatomy and physiology, is that if you were to be cut down to be nothing but muscle, so I was just saying how the lickers are basically look like a skinned person, you know, where the muscle tissue is left behind, you wouldn't really be that strong anymore. Like, you'd probably, like, break all of your tissue apart. There's one thing I was learning about, one thing I was really trying to invest a little bit more in when I was learning that stuff is how tissues work. And, you know, if you're not familiar with it, tissues are... What do I have that's... let's use that really quick. Tissues are, you know, just where cells essentially grow together and they take on some kind of specialized function, essentially. And so, for us, that would be like, you know, you have muscle tissue. You have nervous tissue. Those are two things that are unique to animals. Oh, could you stop, please? But we also have like two tissues that are really common to, you know, even other organisms, which is things like your epithelial tissue, which covers the outside of your body plus the inside. You know, it kind of lines all the organs of the body essentially. And then there's the connective tissue that connects everything together. And one of the problems with muscle tissues is like muscle tissue is essentially designed to move. You know, it's designed to create motion, but its strength comes from the connective tissue underneath. And so what would happen if you had muscle with no connective tissue? Your muscles would be stripped apart, essentially, if you tried to move. So, the concept of a liquor from that perspective means... There we go. There's our box. Oh, no. That's not it. Shriveled to bed age. No, that's an offering. Sorry. I thought that had the markings of our box. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't makes the liquor not make a whole lot of sense now, doesn't it? Is this the room, maybe? Oh, it can't be. This can't be the room. Oh, an Emma. Wait a minute. Was I missing an Emma from... Oh, you know what? I wrote down that there's an Inari-sama Door. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was it. What do we got here? Family physician's log. I think we do need these. February 16th. It's a miracle. How could this be? The two daughters' symptoms have improved dramatically. Wait. Two daughters? February 18th. Both patients have made a full recovery. I do not understand it one bit. Could this be a phenomenon that cannot be explained through scientific means? There exists no record in any literature of a disease or toxin that could lead to such a cruel illness. Such a dramatic recovery as the two daughters experienced has likewise never been documented. Well, not documented that you know of. Now the housemaids are whispering about a supposed curse, yet I can no longer chide them. I've never heard of that before, and insist science can prove all. Well, science doesn't prove. That's the whole point. All right, you're going to get a lecture here again. Sorry. Science does not aim to prove anything. That's not the point. We build a body of knowledge based on the idea that if there's holes in that knowledge, we will disprove it. And then what we don't disprove, we kind of take as fact. That's the whole basis of how science works. It's kind of it's similar to how you look at court cases. It's like you're not trying to prove someone's guilty. You're trying to, as like a defendant, for instance, like you don't prove someone's guilty. You're trying to, or not guilty because you're the defendant, but you're trying to show that there's reasonable doubt that they didn't do it, you know, and that the circumstances could be, you know, misleading. That's usually what a defendant is doing. Or defender, I should say. Okay, I really need to go back to the shrines and start so I can pick some of this stuff up. Yeah. Or maybe I should start getting rid of some stuff again. Oh, I can't get rid of my toolkits if I have them. I already used a lot of those up. Hey. Oh. I just realized my health was a little bit low from that last tussle. So, it's a major pet peeve of mine. People say it a lot, but like any person who teaches science or does science knows that we're not aiming to prove. And there is sometimes you'll see that come up in like a language barrier, but which is understandable. That's not what we're trying to do. There is no prove, disprove, or fail to falsify. I usually just go with the word accept. You know, we accept this for what it is. It supports our claims. You know, we have no reason to mistrust it. Okay, I don't remember where those little pieces were, so let's see what we can find, I guess. Let's rescope the area. One of them was an offering, right? Yep, there's that. There's another one. There's a comb somewhere. I don't want to miss on the comb. That's worth quite a bit of faith. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of stuff with scientific method, because people will say things like, "Oh, you can't use the scientific method on paranormal phenomena." I'm like, well, why can't we? Like, I think it's perfectly plausible to apply it. Maybe not in a true statistical sense, but we can, in all cases at least, but we can surely apply it. And don't ever call me Shirley. I guess I can get rid of what I have. Yeah, okay, there were two of those, which those are worth a lot, so nice to have. The comb's not worth as much, but it's worth a lot. The shriveled Agura edge, I think it's called. Those are worth a lot. That's really nice. Let's go explore some of these side rooms. After I make a backup save here, right? Okay, we came in here earlier. I think that was the only room I haven't gone in. I do think it's cool that we can bypass a lot of these areas and that they've changed things up. One of my concerns I mentioned at the end was that it was going to make replay of this really tedious and hard. And the enemies have lived up to that, but otherwise it's been kind of nice. Dead carcass, thank you. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Anybody just got a dried carcass sitting around their place? I mean, I guess I have weird things too that people would probably, well, not weird to me, but I mean, people would probably say, yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, I have a coyote skull somewhere in this house. I don't think it's weird, but I'm sure a lot of people would think it was. I think I have a pig and I want to say a couple other animals. I can't remember what they are though. It's not a carcass. They're actually pretty cool looking, I think. They're kind of smelly though, because the person I got them from, I think, had cats. Because it smells like cat pee. Oh, this is where we did the branding. Must we? Should be enough. So the first thing on my list as far as trophies go is called Treasured Belonging, and it has to do with this ending. Or the ending that we're going for, I should say. And that's one of the things that we should be able to get based on us having the fox arm early. Where's that go? That's a new place, isn't it? So this goes back down. Where's... Why am I not remembering the wraparound here? Are you kidding me? That room looked like it was one of those with the big booba enemies. I see the little sack. I don't see the big one. Oh, this might be the area we need to go. Oh no, I do have notes on the Inari-sama Door. It's just not the same Inari-sama Door. We'll figure it out. Let's try to back up. I failed. Oh, I need to get my I need to get my sanity back. Oh no, don't kill me. Don't kill me. Please don't. I don't want to have to redo all that. I've had the sanity drink kill me before, so... Any ceiling trends? Take that. Wait, whoa. Go down. Stay down. I think we actually have a boss fight in this area too. I think this is where we go up against the Rinko after that final ritual. My gosh. Comb. Haha, we gotta comb anyway. Oh, come on. we got? We have way too many first aid kits. Get rid of a couple. The carcass, nice. I hear one of those water thingies. I can't think what they're called. Is this the spot? I don't remember ever being here. Only one way to find out. We can always reload, right? That might be the new door that we couldn't get through, I guess. Yeah, that little thing that's making that clap noise. I don't know what those are called. Oh no, this is a puzzle, isn't it? Mandate of the clan. And yet our mortal world is ever changing, the age of gods has passed, and the powers of heaven have withered. Such a living sacrifice may no longer suffice to quell the wrath of the deep, so our ancestors saw fit to place a seal of immense power upon the being below. Upon the water they set a great stone. Now the being remains sealed away, unable to break free of its prison. However, earth cannot endure forever against the might of water. As its power wanes, the seal shall break. When the wrath rises once more, we shall be powerless to stop it. And that's been a common theme that's coming up. So in documents, the fox versus the water dragon, right? Yeah, there's another one, and there's a symbol on it. Okay, upon the rock, our ancestors built a shrine, naming it Heaven's Benediction, so it could serve as a sanctuary for our clan. When Heaven's benediction falls, the wrath of the depths shall rage against the heavens themselves, and both man and land shall face calamity. When that time comes, the glory of Higa's gods shall wane, heralding too the end of our clan. It is the duty of our family's head to ensure that Heaven's benediction will prosper for generations to come. It is the fate of our family's head that he shall prevent calamity from ever arising. Okay. Oh, there it is. So when it fills up with water, it tips. I think that's how that works. Yep. He who seeks the crimson water which banishes evil. Here we go. When the Odoshi strikes once, let the bell chime. Is that the thing that's making the water noise? Thrice shall the bells ring to speak the legends of this land. Trapped under a great stone in the lake's abyss lies a slumbering water dragon. There we go. Born during the age of gods and sealed away by our ancestors. Deprived of the water dragon's spirit, the once lush great tree has met a withering fate. That's going to give us our clue, right? Yeah, we'll come back to that. I want to explore the area a little bit further before I start to big brain. This is a new puzzle for us, so I'm not really sure what to make of it yet. Okay, that looks like fire. We had a tree, we had a fire. I gotta go look at the other one. I don't remember what it was. This is really cool, though. I'm liking the territory. Treasured belonging. Hotei-sama sitting cross-legged. A medicine bottle with Hotei-sama, the monk, engraved on it. Contains a red liquid. In ancient... Okay, wait. We only have one page on this. In ancient times, when people believed fevers were the result of demonic possession, this infusion was considered a miracle cure that was capable of dispelling evil spirits. Though the original formulation has been lost to time, historical documents indicate that it took an extraordinary amount of time and effort to prepare. Uh-oh. Now what? What? I already had that. Nice. Note of caution. Agura no Hotei-sama bestows unto us the blessing of crimson water. This blessing can be found deep beneath the sacred mountain where spring water pools to infuse with benison herbs. Its medicinal properties, unlike any other, are the bounty of many moons of steeping. The power imbued to the crimson water shall eradicate even the most wicked evil, but beware, for its frightful potency makes it unsuitable for purification of mortals. Only for the excision of ancient evil shall it be used. According to the writings of the Iwai family, whose members have served the people of Abisu Gaoka as physicians for generations, only infusions prepared using the traditional method can truly be called Agura no Hotei-sama. Anything bearing the name in modern day is merely snake oil. And snake oil was the name they used for like medications that had no business being called medications. So basically people just conning other people. True infusions are said to be a double-edged sword, both a miraculous elixir and a dangerous poison. That is, if one harbors any guilt inside the hearts, then not only shall the infusion cleanse you of any evil spirits, but it will also destroy your very self from the inside out. Interesting. So does that mean it will destroy the person that's supposedly the evil in the case? What is that? Does that look like a mountain? Maybe? A volcano? Okay, what was the other one? Down here, the third one. Of the bottom ones. Looks like waves, maybe? Okay, so we got the mountain up top, we got the waves over there, we have the tree here, and we have the... No, those look like waves too. Uh-oh. There's two waves? Is it just higher water levels? Maybe? Or maybe this one's waves and the other one means something else. Okay. Puzzles. Okay, let's see. He who seeks the crimson water, which banishes evil, when the Shishiodoshi strikes once, let the bell chime. Thrice shall the bells ring to speak the legends of this land. Trapped under a great stone in the lake's abyss lies a slumbering water dragon, born during the age of gods and sealed away by our ancestors. Deprived of the water dragon spirits, the once lush great tree has met a withering fate. So the lake might be the higher water level then? And there's the tree. I'm assuming we have to ring 3 bells. So this is thrice shall the bells ring to speak the legends of this land. Trapped under a great stone, that could be the mountain. In the lake's abyss lies a slumbering water dragon born during the age of gods and sealed away by our ancestors. Deprived of the water dragon spirit, the once lush great tree has met a withering fate. Mountain, lake, tree. There's the tree. This could be the lake. I might be way off on this. Or maybe the other one is the lake, but... Do I have to wait for it to strike and then hit them all? That's a short time. Let's try it. Okay, let's try you. You. And you. No. Hermitage of Crimson Water. Hermitage. Okay, I had a solution here for hard. And we're not on hard, but we can read. I'm thinking I might read that one. It says hard difficulty, so I'm assuming it's going to be different for me. It says volcano, water, tree. I think that's what I did. Let's try it. Maybe it doesn't change. Volcano, water, tree. I don't know if that has to be ranked to, you know, restart it. Okay, so volcano, which was my first thought. It was volcano, water, tree. Oh. Water. Wait, did I do them in that order? That might have been the problem. Maybe I put them in the wrong order. I did them in the wrong order. Volcano, water, tree. Okay. Alright, alright. I had the right idea. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So that doesn't change on Lost in the Fog then. That's exactly what it was on hard. I thought it would have been different, but like I said, at least I was on the right track. And from there, this is where we'll have to purify the sword then, so, or cleanse the sword, whatever it is. So there's nothing else we can do here now. That's what we needed to get done. So we'll be back here later. I don't think there's anything else we can get. It's all colored in red. That's really cool. I love the little touches they do on the map. I like the drawings too. That was always one of my favorite parts about any Silent Hill, is like the drawings on the map and the markings and whatnot. I think it's such a cool feature. Let's get to the save spot first. I do some upgrades. Ooh, we can do next stamina level. Okay, that's gonna probably require either that's full max or we have to go to the new game 3+, right? Should we do? Let's do a health. Okay. I'll do a save here, just in case. Let's try those alternative paths. Yeah. Now, if I go up here, there's another, let's try it. Hey there. Yeah, I want that. I want my arm charged up, of course. this literally just a upper area that we can go through? There's gotta be a reason for this to exist, right? Okay, no items. This is actually, I think I said this in the previous episode, this is one of my favorite parts of the first playthrough, just because of how, like, graphic it was. And I'm not necessarily a fan of, like, over-the-top graphic content in terms of, like, horror. I think body mutilation is interesting. But, like, I know for a lot of people, it's just not the way to go when you want to be, you know, it's not scary necessarily. It's not in the same way that, you know, good, that generally what I would say is a good horror game would be. Okay, this was the arm location, right? The other one was the branding location. Maybe this is the face. Yeah, it looks like they're holding a mask. This is the face location. So this was the third trial. Which means the other one would be the arm. Right? Now we do have a trophy tied to Rinko. She makes puppets. And we need to get through the fight without them hurting us, apparently. First time I was playing, I didn't know that, otherwise I would have been conscious. I would have done it, but right, carcass, great. So it really didn't matter which way I went. I could have come over from both sides. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, because there's the mural again. Okay, that's really cool. So I think we got everything here. That's, like I said, the only thing left on my list is the trophy for dealing with Rinko. Somebody's making an awful ruckus. Don't think we have enough for any of those. No. All right, let's try it and see what happens. It said it says Echoes of Jealousy is the trophy, and we just want to. It says defeated Rinko without being hit by her puppets. So we'll just have to watch out for them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take this now. Oh. Another safe spot. Let's do it here. So, anything new here?
Dewa, 行こうか。はい。ご一緒に。
I never noticed it when I was first playing, but Junko is in the crowd here. You can see the bird mask. Also, I had read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is, but I think I'd read somewhere about apparently the masks are different for males and females. And that apparently the one we're wearing is actually for males, which is, like I said, kind of interesting. There she is on the left. Bye. So that's our sister, apparently. And it looks like everybody on the left side is wearing a full face mask versus the right side. So maybe that's the difference between the male-female masks? If that was correct.
Rinko?
私たちの世界からひな子が死んでいなくなりそうだから。
リンコ、私はあんたの願い通り死んでいなくなるから。だから私のことなんか忘れて幸せに生きなよ。
忘れてやる、手伝ってやる。私の記憶から世界からお前の名前なんて全部消えたんですよ。
消されない。私の名前は清水ひな子。
私の気持ちを知ってたくせに銃に近いんだ。
Did that count? I took damage there. Oh, she might have hit me there.
私の気持ちを知ってたくせにずっと傾いて憎い。お前が憎い。
見たくなかった。こんなリンコ見たくなかった。
私がバカだったよ。お前にずっと
Alright, attempt 3. This is a little trickier than I thought it was going to be.
燃えろ、私の怒りの炎で。
Okay, here's our problem. These guys. Okay, I don't want a soul siphon. Oh, come on. It charges up that, oh crap, that meter, so. Okay, is there another one? Okay, I got another one. Oh, come on, give me that, give me that, give me that. Okay, okay, okay. I may have this.
呪ってやる。幸せになんかさせない。
お前の幸不幸はお前の責任だ。
お前はこんな寝て死ね。
そこまで言われる筋合いはない。幸せになりたきゃ努力して運命を変えろ。
お前さえできれば。
力がみなぎる。
Oh no, not more of these things. Come on. Got it. 3 attempts.
見たくなかった。
Oh man.
リンコのこんな姿。でも今は嬉しい。お別れに際して私たちはようやく本音を語り合えたね。これでリンコの世界から清水ひな子は消えたね。お幸せにリンコ。私は清水ひな子じゃない。
どうしたひな子。
私は
君はひな子じゃないか。
私は
君はひな子だ。
はい。私は清水ひな子じゃない。私はひな子。
そうだよ。君は私のひな子だ。
十分。殺すか殺されるか決めた？
お姉ちゃん、
殺されなさい、ひな子。
どうしてみんなそうなの？みんな殺してるの？お姉ちゃんも殺したの？
ええ、私も殺したわ。お父さんもお母さんも、そして大切な妹であるあなたもね。友達もみんな殺したわ。
私は殺されたくない。
今日それを口にすることがどれだけ恐ろしいか分かってる？
もちろん。
今日までに何度も言ったかもしれないけれど、もう一度だけ言うわね。生はあなたが選びなさい。だけど今日、その選択には特別な代償が伴う。それもあなたが生き延びた時にだけ。あなたがおとなしく殺されるなら何の代償もない。お姉ちゃんはひな子に幸せになってほしいよ。
お姉ちゃん、リンコ。
She said, that was a new cutscene, by the way. That's why I was really fixated there. She said that she killed she said she killed father, mother, you, all my friends. I'm thinking they're using the term killed as in she's cutting off her former life and embracing a new life with a marriage, is what I'm assuming. Which is really weird to me. I understand people like cutting off their family if they're like the most toxic people in the world kind of thing, but is there like a major cultural difference here that I'm just not that familiar with? I know I've seen some stories, Japanese stories where, you know, kids don't really have close relations with their family. And for me, and I guess that is a common thing I've seen in animes. But I always think, like, for me, like, I mean, I basically have lived under the same roof as my parents my entire life, because when I, you know, at times when I've been living with them, you know, the concept was to kind of save on cost, but then anytime that I've been away from them, they've come and stayed with me just as well. So, you know, we have a really close relationship in that sense. And then when I have talked to like my friends from India, for instance, they said they think that's great. You know, for them and their culture, that's an amazing thing. You know, that makes you a really, that's just I think awesome was the word that was given to me for that. That's how they looked at it. And in the United States, it's not necessarily always like that. It really kind of depends. I mean, people seem to push in the States more for independence, which I don't understand why. And this is, you know, kind of, I'd say years ago. Nowadays, I think it's more common that people stay with their parents because they can't afford to live on their own. And I don't know. To me, I'm like, maybe that's just a common cultural norm, and that's what they're getting at. That's kind of the way my mind's taking that, though. They're talking about just cutting off their former life and embracing a new life is the way I'm kind of seeing it. Or am I just like massively misinterpreting that? I don't know. That's kind of the way it's coming to me, at least, the way I'm kind of thinking of this. Because obviously we're not really killing our friends and family, and in reality that's not what we're trying to do, right? And then I'm also looking at Junko as a character I don't necessarily understand. So she's, if I'm right about that thought process, she's clearly embraced having a different life and not being in communication with us, right? And if you go back to the beginning of the game, and I commented on this in my first playthrough, they make a very strong point of not showing her face. She looks normal, but then every time we see her in the game, they still don't show her face. Either we don't see enough, or you'll see her skin looks very decrepit, like she has been dead for a while, and she's wearing a mask. And then the other thing about her, sorry, wrong document. If you go to characters and actually look at Junko, they've changed this actually. This was not the original picture of Junko. If you go back to like the original playthrough and look at when I was reading about her in the journal, and I think I even made I made a comment at some point in my first playthrough where I was like, oh, why does she not have the same name as, you know, the family name? And I was like, oh, because she's married, obviously. It didn't really click for me right away. And then like if you look at the drawing, like where her face is, it's completely scratched out. And I was kind of wondering if that's what that's in. Originally, I was kind of wondering if they're not. I mean, I don't really know what I was thinking at the time, because I don't think I really fixated on that too much initially. It's more when I got to this point where I was like, why are they not showing her face? Why does she look like she's dead? Why is the original drawing of her crossed out? That's where I started thinking, is she actually dead? Is she not alive anymore? Or is it because she's just not a part of our life anymore? So when I started this playthrough, this second playthrough that we're working on right now, I was really thinking that maybe she was just dead this whole time. Maybe whatever happened to her killed her. You know, she's severed from us in that sense completely. Now I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's just because she just cut off communication with us. She's not a part of our lives anymore. That seems really strange, though. Even in those stories where people don't have close relationships with their families, and I'm talking about the stories I know from a Japanese perspective. At least I'm assuming it is, because I'm like, the names are in Japanese. You would assume that, you know, I would assume that a anime is coming from the perspective of people that, you know, live these lives. They know this is a normal thing. I don't recall the kids being that disconnected from their family that they never stay in touch. I recall stories where they do stay in touch. It's just not necessarily an everyday thing. So, I don't know what to make of that. I think that's really interesting. If that's the case, then a lot of what's going on here between Fogtown and, well, I guess this is more the Dark Shrine where we're seeing this. It's more symbolic that we're killing our friends, right? It's more symbolic that we're taking them out, and then that we face off with our parents and all that stuff. Because it's you know, we face off against our parents in Fogtown, yes, but that's the only time we ever actually face off with anything close to us in Fogtown, as far as I know or can remember. Because most of it is the Dark Shrine stuff, which is as I said in my interpretation of my first playthrough, I think the Dark Shrine represents the Fogtown versus Dark Shrine represents two different sides to our personality. The side of us the side of us that might go along with things, versus the side of us who is rebellious and doesn't want to be put into these social norms that she's being forced into, essentially. And I don't know how these endings are going to play out yet, because we obviously haven't got there, but maybe that will change the perspective as we go, because like I said, some of this sure has for me. I was starting to think that Junko was just dead, and now I'm starting to think maybe she's not dead. Maybe she's just disconnected from us because she's embraced a new life. And maybe she's being forbidden to talk to us. This is the 60s, so that's not out of the norm if we look at it from that perspective. So it's interesting. I'm really liking that they're putting more layers into this, but I'm also not sure. My interpretations feel more off the more I try to think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, don't spoil things for me if you know what's going on ahead of things, because you've seen ahead of this. Please don't put it here. I don't want to hear that. Let me know what you're thinking if you've gotten to this point and you don't know what's happening next. Or maybe you've seen further than me, but you still don't know. That's fine too. Like, just don't spoil for me what the ending is going to be. So, anyways, I think that's our last Dark Shrine component that actually that goes the way things have been going. Because we have this is kind of like our final visit in Fogtown. And then after that, we kind of get to that point where we start swapping places, right? Because this is once we get past the confrontation with our parents and go after the Shiramuku, we end up in that transition state where we go back to the Dark Shrine and proceed towards the ending. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to take us. Thank you all for joining, and I will see you all later.